I'm Phil Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and in this episode, I want to examine one of my life viewpoints, and that is to look at things from an astronomical level. And no, I don't mean astrology. I mean in the sense of what you put in is far less than what you actually get out of something, right? I want to look at things through that sort of lens and in the various ways that is applicable in your life. Now, before I fully get into it, though, I would like to take the opportunity to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. That way you get all the various lessons and episodes that I put out right when I put them out. Thank you if you just did, and thank you if you already were. It truly doesn't mean a lot to me, as I hope it does to you. So, where the root of this sort of thinking comes from is from investing. One of the myths growing up that I was taught is high risk, high reward. And it's not really, in investing, you don't really want to do that. You want low risk, high reward, right? Astronomical, in terms of what you're able to get out of it. You want that low risk. You want almost like a sure bet. And, investors, whether it's Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett, just anyone you can name that is successful really looks at things like that. A prime example is Richard Branson when he started Virgin. One of the things that he did was, he basically got the planes for 1 year, and if his airline didn't work, then he could essentially return them. And so it would cost him money, but not that much, right? Of course, it ended up being a success, and the rest is sort of history. But nonetheless, it was a calculated risk. So that's one prime example of low risk, high reward, right? And many people in finance talk about it in that way. Well, I've applied that notion, I borrowed it from investing principles and applied it to creative projects, Like, for example, I had decided to make my second feature film in Colombia. Why? Well, because it was so cheap to do it there, right? I could literally, to go out to an expensive dinner, and we're talking drinks and steak meals for 14 people was less than $200. Right? Whereas, anywhere in America, that might be like $1,000, quite literally. And so forth, right? So the cost was cheap. And what we got out of it in return was a movie. What we got Colombian, right? There's literally a scene that we filmed that in most Hollywood movies, to create that sort of atmosphere would cost probably $1 million just for that scene. Because we're in this beautiful park, there's lights, there's a concert, there's people and so forth, and we got it for free. Because we were there. And that's incredible, right? So I always creatively think of these things, right? The other aspect of it, at the top of this year, I had made a proof of concept for a feature film that I wanted to make. And it was quite costly. It literally cost the same budget. This one short film cost the same budget as my debut feature film. And the reason for that was because it was very VFX heavy. But number one, I did it because I wanted to showcase to people this idea, because it's a little bit different, right, in terms of what it's going for. And so people needed to see it visually to understand the written text of the actual script, right? A picture's worth 1,000 words type of thing. And secondly, I looked at it as an investment for me, because even with that, I got to learn how to do visual effects. And so that's now a skill that's within my toolbox that I can use moving forward, whether on my projects or other people's projects, right? And so that was beneficial for me, right? So in that sense, that's another way I view this, is how, even if I fail, what do I get out of this? And ultimately, like, one of my fail-safes with the Colombian movie was like, hey, if this all went to hell, well, then I could always just cancel everything and I'll just be on vacation in Colombia with my friends, right? Like, that was honestly the fail-safe. So there's that aspect, I think creatively, really think about what are things in your life that, for the effort, and it's not to say that it won't be effortless, right? Like all these things that I'm talking about took a lot of effort. But, I can honestly say, like, as far as the movie in Colombia that we shot, we shot it for pretty much dirt cheap, at least in terms of film budgets go. But it looks at least like $1 million movie, right? Certainly a $500,000 movie. And we didn't spend that on it. So that's what I look out of it, So really start to think about what are the ways in which you can have that low risk, high reward type thing, low cost, high reward aspect, Now, the other way that I look at like astronomical, input versus output is the ability to affect somebody in your life. And that means both people that you know, but people you don't know. And that's something I want you to sit with this, because especially in this, I'm taping this during the holiday season, right, towards the end of 2021. And, the holidays, I think we've bastardized as this time when, like, it's gifts, what are you getting me, what are you getting me type of thing, when really we should look at our blessings and see what we have and how we want to, utilize that. Because there's far more blessings that we have that we aren't letting on, and we have at our disposal, right? So, for example, there was a thing that this happened to be for a friend, but a friend of mine, needed help with something, and cost some money, right? It was about, like, let's say $50, right? And I was like, hey, here you go. And he was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll pay you back and this and that. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, don't worry about it. Because that $50, yes, it's $50, right? We should value money, but what it allowed him in return was far greater than what that actual monetary value was, like, what it brings to his life, the ability. And so, I really think about things from that perspective, like, for example, let's say, you go and buy some food, right, for $20 that you want to give to a soup kitchen or something like that, right? Yes, that cost you $20, but think of the gratitude and the impact on the other side. The way you might view that $20 in your everyday life is not the same as how it will be received on the other side. And that's why I do believe in charities, and that's why I believe in giving to charities, is because, you can really kind of extend the value of your dollar, so to speak. And I think we have to think about that. And it's not just monetary stuff either. It's just time-wise too. Sometimes donating your time, helping out, delivering the food to people who need it, right? I'm just going with like a soup kitchen food type of analogy here, but, like, if you're donating your time, that's your cost, and yet consider the impact of, someone getting that food and not going hungry, right? That's big. And so I like to apply this astronomical viewpoint of life, this principle, that I borrowed from investing in all aspects of life. And when you do that, you can really maximize your contributions and your level of impact on this world and the influence you have. I think we all want to add some positivity to this world and make a change and be thought of in some way important, right? Not necessarily from an egotistical standpoint, but I think we all want to leave behind some sort of legacy that we did something on this earth, for this earth, while we were here. And when you really consider it from this viewpoint, I think you'll have a better shot at that. And that's why I wanted to share this lesson with you. Thank you, as always, for taking time to tune in. If you have any questions or thoughts of your own, please share them down in the comment section or hit me up on social media at Svitek. I would love to hear from you. Likewise, if you appreciate what I'm doing and would like to interact on a more direct level and get some cool stuff as well, you can check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/PhilSvitek. Likewise, if you just want to support me, I have books out, I have movies out, all that is in the description box for you to check out, and hopefully enjoy as well. All right, so thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.